Hey there, it's Reaper and welcome to 2025. I am alive. I am revived from my slump quite a bit so far this year. Towards the end of last year, I really started to feel a lot of improvement in my headspace and desire to do anything. But more about that in another video upcoming. This video is just going to focus on the books that I read. I think there's a couple things that might be missing. But I'm going to try to mention it the best I can. And then the last thing I do want to say is that I'm sorry if you hear my chair squeaky or my Gamora making noises, because she is in here and she has been trying to do shenanigans, like drink my coffee. Let's go ahead and get into the books. Thornhinge by T. Kingfisher. This is just, it's a yes from me. Words in Deep Blue by Kathy Crowley. This was pretty good. I enjoyed most of the elements of it. I was pleasantly surprised. Like the Universe and Everything by Douglas Adams. Not the best in the series, but not the worst. Wanted by Sarah Shepard. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I still plan on doing a video. This was the end of the second arc, so I don't know how there's going to be 2 more arcs. Thoughts are wild. But I'm just going to need to make a whole video conversation about this. Francine Rivers' The Masterpiece. Very pleasantly surprised by this one. The Haunting of Alejandro by V. Castro. This was kind of mixed feelings for me. There were things that I really loved and things that I really didn't love, so it's kind of one of those that I would rate probably like a 3, but I'm not rating things at the moment, it seems. I just kind of inadvertently didn't rate this year. It's hard to explain. Moxie by Jennifer Matthew. This was pretty great. I loved some of the elements of small town life. I loved the messaging. There was just some things that represented what small town life is like a little poorly that I didn't love. Most everything was excellent. Misladen Parts Half Known by Shauna McGuire. This was not my favorite in the series because I feel like the world that is represented on the cover is not really part of the story, hardly at all. If I Stay by Gail Foreman. This actually pleasantly surprised me. I was expecting it to be more cringe than it was. I did make a video about this though, so you can go and check that out to get more information on my thoughts. One Piece Volume 7 for sure, but I'm pretty sure I read Volume 6 this year as well, but it wasn't listed when I sorted the thing, unless I just overlooked it. But I really enjoyed both volumes. They had some good story and backstory in the battle scene. It was one of the better battle scenes, I feel like, so far. So Long and Thanks for All the Fish by Douglas Adams. Murphy is right, okay? Murphy is right. I don't understand what happened or why, but things changed in this series when we got to this book. I need to adjust this a little bit. I feel like Gamora moved it. I could be wrong, but it just feels like it. Okay. In a Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. This basically confirms that I am a Ruth Ware fangirl and I don't really care what she does as long as she does it. There have just been things that I'm like in the middle about, and then things I've loved. There's no negatives so far, like negatives, you know what I mean? I'm happy. White Stag by Cara Barbieri. This was a shock. I was expecting it to be mid, and I actually ended up really loving the world. It was very unique, very different, and I ordered the next book right away, even though I haven't gotten to it yet. We'll be fixing that soon, though. What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. I love T. Kingfisher's retellings, and this, how you made a sequel after the first one and made it work, so surprising. Definitely enjoyed. This one's a reread. It's the life-changing manga of tidying up, and I enjoyed it again. Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. Just yes. Just yes. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Oh my gosh. This was so good! This was amazing. This is everything that a cozy mystery should be. All of the emotions and the feelings. It was just so good. Brizzy by Claribel A. Ortega and Rose Busamari did the art, and this is something that every curly-haired girl should read. Gamora? No ma'am. Every curly-haired girl should read this. It is not limited to the African hair texture type of experience in regards to some of the subject matter and like the experiences that the character has. It was very, very well done, and I very much appreciated it. Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart was a letdown. So disappointing. The Borrow a Bookshop Holiday by Kylie, no, yeah, Kylie, I almost thought it was Riley for a second. Kylie Dunbar. Very pleasantly surprised, and turns out, based off of Goodreads, there's more! So I'm definitely going to be continuing with these. Watch Me Disappear by Janelle Brown. This was very good. I don't remember exactly how all the pieces fit together though, so that's kind of annoying because my brain isn't great, but the plus of that is that I can reread some thrillers very comfortably because I will be surprised again by some elements because I'll have forgotten completely about some of the things, so I'm not too mad. The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd was such a letdown. The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. Wow, just absolutely wow. 10 out of 10. Making Waves by Lorna Stalestad. Nope, Salestad. I keep saying it wrong. Lorna Salestad. I did it. We did it. Teamwork. Boop. Good. I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. The ending, the last bit was more my favorite than the first bit. Looking back, it wasn't necessarily my favorite in the genre, and I had a good time. I don't know. The Stranger in the Lake by Kimberly Bell was excellent. I had an excellent time reading it. The twists were very intriguing to me. A good find from a free little library without having any information about it or hearing anybody talk about it. Challenger Deep by Neil Shusterman. Wow. Excellent. It was just, I don't know how to describe it. It was just really well done. Knowing the inspiration behind the story really makes it so much more impactful and powerful and important of a book, and I think it's definitely a very valuable story. Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. Oh my goodness. I do not sleep on this series. Do not sleep on this series. I thought that what happened in this book was going to take the entire trilogy. No, I can't wait to continue. Like, I need to know what happens next. Heart Safe Passage by Lori Alice Eakes. This was really quite enjoyable for me. I was pleasantly surprised. I think that I read it at the right time, and I'm kind of glad that I waited to read it because I've become very into the pirate scene when it comes to books. But I've been getting into more of the seafaring and piratey scene thanks to Murphy, and so this was kind of the perfect time to read it, and I had an excellent time with it. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh, I forgot. Deep as the Sky, Red as the Sea. I tried so hard to find her saying her own name in an interview, but every time the interviewee is always the one, or no, the interviewer is always the one saying her name for her, and so I don't know if they're pronouncing it correctly, so I'm gonna just go with Rita Chongipeg, but it could be Changipeg. Or Epig? I'm really not sure, and it makes me sad. I like to be confident. But this was amazing. And knowing kind of like the origin story that this was loosely based on, or maybe not too loosely, but like the original pirate queen that was out there that she based so cool. So cool. I loved it. Amazing. Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, which I remember barely anything about. So I don't really have my thoughts to share because I don't know what they were. I just feel like it was kind of in the middle of the road though, is what I remember feeling. You Know What You Did by KT Nguyen. This was such an intense experience for me. If you don't know, I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and the main character and her mother both have... No, it's not your coffee. You don't get to be dramatic about it because it's not for you. I know you have feelings about that, but that's just how it is. Very intense reading experience because of the fact that both the main character and her mother have OCD and express it in different ways, which I very much appreciated that aspect. These two extremes would be juxtaposed because of the fact that one could really push the other one into that direction. I just feel like it makes sense. I think it was really well done as well in the plot and the resolution. I enjoyed it. It was excellent. It was intense, but it was great. And I definitely think that upon reread, I would be able to enjoy it a lot more, knowing that I don't have to be worried about the, I know I'm talking about this one a lot, but I'm okay with that because this particular reading experience was an important one. So like, when you have mental illness, you don't always trust your own thoughts and feelings about things. Because you're like, what if I'm actually crazy? And that was very well represented in this story. But it also, because it was very well represented, it made me feel very anxious about how the story was going to end. The way that it all came together in the end really made me feel like if I reread this, I would be able to enjoy it more peacefully and not feel that anxiety, because now I know for sure. But yeah, it was a lot. Truly Madly Guilty by Leanne Moriarty was very shocking for me. Not because I was surprised that I liked it, because I've loved what I read from Leanne Moriarty in both of the other ones, but this one was the most emotionally impactful that I've read from her, and I was not expecting to almost cry at this. And that's saying a lot. I don't cry at books because I separate myself from my emotions, so I don't really let myself cry, which is a problem and I need to work on that. But like, I had tears welling, and this is one of the few books that has done that. And so that's a big deal. And it was very well written and gave me feels. Tell No Tales by Sam, what's her name? Mags. This was a letdown. It was a letdown. Benefits of Being an Octopus by Anne Braden. Even better than I expected. I expected it to be good, but it was amazing. The Other Girl by Erica Spindler was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. Bewitching Highlander by Roma Corden. This was a letdown for me. A Zero Waste Life in 30 Days by Anita Van Dyke. This, my main issue is the fact that it's an in 30 days situation. Feelings about that, but whatever. The Sandcastle Empire, oh my goodness. Kayla Olson, that's the author, Kayla Olson. Oh my goodness, so pleasantly surprised. Yes, I'm so glad I finally picked it up. It's been on my shelf, waiting. I should have read it sooner. The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch, another book that I should have read sooner. I should have read the whole series sooner. So good. Jane the Fox and Me was another reread by Fanny Britt. Yes, just yes. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater finally started the series, and I enjoyed so far the world expansion that started to happen towards the end, and then that last line. Yes. Towers Falling by Jewel Parker Rhodes. A very wonderful take on this topic, and a very important book to exist because of the fact that the current generations that are in this age category and even older don't know or even remember really, or weren't alive. Very important story. Wait, this way? Another reread, In Real Life by Cory Doctorow and Jen Wong. This is excellent and I highly recommend it. I feel like it's very underappreciated. A Very Large Expensive Sea by Tahara Mafi. Pleasantly surprised by this. It was amazingly excellent and I can't wait to read more from the author. Reread, Nimona by Indy Stevenson. Excellent. It was great. I love this book. It's just good. It's just good. It's good. Read it. It's cute. Mermaids Never Drown, Tales to Die For. This is an anthology, and it was a letdown for me compared to the first book. The first anthology just had a lot more going for it, but I'm hopeful for the next one. I think the next one's gonna go better because fairies, I feel like there's a lot of directions you can go with that in the same way as vampires, so I think it's gonna be an improvement. Shipwrecked by Olivia Dade. Finally finished this series. This was my least favorite of the series though. I didn't hate it by any means. I think mostly because of the opening part and the one night stand aspect. That really is why it took me so long to get into and read, because I was uncomfortable with reading that first part, so I ended up just kind of skipping it. So I just moved ahead. So anyways, From Night Owl to Dogfish by Holly Goldberg Sloan and Meg Wolitzer. This was so fun. I enjoyed this a lot. Told through emails, great time. I think this is the right direction anyway. The Moth Keeper by Kay O'Neill was a reread and excellent. I needed something cozy like this. Speaking of cozy, this is the opposite. He Started It by Samantha Downing. I really love the way that she writes Morley Gray. I can't wait to read more from her. Growing Pangs by Catherine Ormsby and Molly Brooks. This is so excellent and very important. I wish I had something like this as a kid. So valuable. Another reread, Crumbs by Danny Sterling. I love this one. It's so sweet. Whoops. The Twits by Roald Dahl. I did read several Roald Dahl, so be warned if you don't know. There are some controversies about him as a human being that I didn't really know about before I asked for his a collection of his works. This I had read previously. It was a reread for me, and it was just as fun this time. The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. The things keep building. The things keep building, y'all. The X-Hex by Erin Sterling. This was bigger in the world aspect than I was anticipating, and I enjoyed that. Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This was way more enjoyable than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be way more cringe and like uncomfy and like just trying to bother you than it was. It actually is very much more thematic, and I feel like now I need to reread Ocean at the End of the Lane just because of how well this was crafted, even though there are elements that make me uncomfy about that book. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that any other way. Which way am I supposed to go? This way? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl as well, another reread, and yes, I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I do. Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson. This I loved. I cannot wait to get a copy of this to keep. This is the kind of I love cozy graphic novels. This is it for me. Fantastical a little bit, cozy, special, like conversations of like feeling and helping you feel better about life. That is what I look for in a graphic novel, personally. That's just my vibe. Donuts and Doom by, sorry, I'm gonna have to look at my note for this, Balazs Lorinsky. This was cute. This was very cute. I do recommend. It was fun. The Witches by Roald Dahl. This one was alright. I think that there are some things being talked about here that I feel like there might be mixed feelings on. How it was represented, I don't know for sure. I didn't find it to be problematic, and I feel like it represents things in a different way than a lot of people say that his views were, so I'm very confused by that. So I'm gonna have to do some research about that. Unfamiliar by Hallie Newcomb. This was great, and I meant to read the second one too, and I kind of got distracted and forgot to do that, I think. So that's unfortunate, but I will be reading it next year, for sure. But this was cute. Reading Quirks by, for some reason it says The Wild Detectives as the author. I don't really know. This is just like a collection of memes. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Mochi's Pugpy Days by Gemma Jean. Oh my goodness. This, I read Living with Mochi last year or the year before. So incredibly cute, and this was like a kind of prequel almost, I guess. It's a great time. This way? Monsters You Should Know About by Emma Sancartier. This was not my fave. I thought it was going to be a little bit more than it was. Meh. Garlic and the Witch by Brie Paulson. So cute. I love these. I love these books. Tokyo Ueno Station by Yu Miri. I should have looked up this name. I forgot to do that. This was kind of a letdown for me, not in the fact that it was bad, but it wasn't what it was presented to be. Like, the idea was good, but the execution just fell flat for me. Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops by Jen Campbell. This was fun. I had a great time with this. There were a few of them that I wasn't a fan of and that I felt like were a little too to have included, but everybody's humor style is different, so I get it. Book Love by Debbie Tung. This is another one of those like, stop it! You're not going to eat the sticky note. It's not a treat. It is a sticky. Also, you're pushing the camera. Stop it. This is another like kind of a collection of memes and bookish like relatable moments type things. One of the two, either Reading Quirks or Book Love, I liked better than the other, but I can't remember which, to be totally honest. More Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops by Jen Campbell. Nope. This was a letdown. First of all, it's way shorter. If you're gonna make it shorter, then it has to be entirely unique content. No. This way. A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, which is another reread. Very valuable, I think, and very well done, I think, on Patrick's part in trying to honor Siobhan Dowd's vision for the story. Fantastic Mr. Fox by Roald Dahl. This was meh. The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me by Roald Dahl. This was so fun. I had a great time with this one. The Road Between by Courtney Peppernell. This I happened to get just because I found it thrifted. I'm glad that I did because I still enjoy her poetry so far. It's some of the better free verse that I found. The Christmas Murder Game. This is by Alexandra Benedict, and this was fun. I had a great time. However, I was very disappointed in the choice for the resolution. I was really hoping it was going to go in a different direction because it picked like the most obvious twist as the twist, and I hate that. I really wish it had done something different and unique. Oh, the other thing, I really wish that the clues had been something that we as the reader could have like figured out, but we couldn't, so I didn't like that aspect either. Billy and the Min Pins by Roald Dahl. This was cute. I'm sure that there is more to the social commentary or cultural, religious, I guess really, it's religious commentary, than what I absorbed based off of my quick read of it. I'm not going to say I agree or disagree with any of the things from the story, but the Min Pins themselves are adorable, so at least there's that. The Golden Girls The Night Before Christmas. I found this thrifted and was so excited because I had been wanting this, and so I finally have it, and I'm so happy. Yes. Telling My Face to Smile by Judy Spencer. This is so good. It is about a woman's experience with Parkinson's. Another reread, In a Holidays by Christina Lauren, and I'm glad that I reread this. It was still great, and I had a fun time. Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. Not my favorite in the series. Didn't feel like it was as steamy as some of the other ones. Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey, which I thought was so cute. This was one of my favorites in the series, I believe, if I remember correctly. To be honest, it kind of is all blurring together at this point. All by My Elf by Olivia Dade. This was good, but this was one of the least pleasant for me. A certain kind of humor stuff that was kind of snuck in there in a way, and I get kind of where she was going with it, but I hated it. I don't remember anymore. I'm getting so confused. Merriment and Mayhem by Alexandra Bellefleur, and this was excellent in some ways. It was a little bit more conversation on the spicy stuff than I would have picked. I liked the concept and like the chaos of it. It was fun. I think I'm this. I don't know. Several People Are Typing by Calvin Kasulke. Another one I should have looked up and didn't. This was, yes, this was such a cool concept. I think it was great. Only Santa's in the Building by Alexis Daria. My main thing with it is that it was a little bit more on the spicy side, if I'm remembering correctly. The Package by Kay Bromberg. This was okay. I felt like it was way too short as well. With the story that they were telling, like a trope heavy, then you have to have a longer story. You can only really lean into something like this length with very unique something. And it was not that, so. The Christmas Party by Catherine Croft. This was I have mixed feelings about it. I loved some elements of it. However, there were some things that were added in the latter portion that I really was not a fan of, and I felt like it was trying to do something that it shouldn't have. 8 Winter Nights by Liz Maverick. Not my favorite thing, and there were some elements that were supposed to, I think, be cute and like attractive, and they were not. Once Upon a Christmas Carol by Karen Schaller. This was cute. I liked it a lot. It could be a Hallmark movie almost, but it's not quite a Hallmark movie. I don't know which way I'm going. The Upside Down Christmas by Kate Forster. This was very cute. I had a lot of fun with this one. I loved that it was different from some of the other things that we have because of it was on the other half of the hemisphere. So it was summer. It was in Australia specifically, and so having it be summer, we don't get a lot of books that are showing us Southern Hemisphere Christmases, and I enjoyed it. This way. The Naughty, the Nice, and the Nanny by Willa Nash. This was cute. Very cute. I very much enjoyed it. Minimal. I think it was like only one spicy scene too. So if you're looking for a lack of spice, then this does deliver a Christmas story with a minimal amount. I think this way. Things My Son Needs to Know About the World by Frederick Bachman. Finally read Frederick Bachman, and I am so glad. And this was so much better than I anticipated, and this was such a great time. I think that any parent would enjoy reading this. And some kids and teachers. 3 Bells, 2 Bows, and 1 Brother's Best Friend by Willa Nash. I enjoyed this. I liked the way it was tied with the previous book. I didn't love it as much as the first one, but I still enjoyed myself. A Partridge in a Pregnancy, also by Willa Nash, and this one was my least favorite of the 3. I liked this one significantly less, mainly because of the main female character being very not cool in a certain couple of aspects. It really bothered me a lot, actually. Not my favorite of the 3. Roald Dahl's George's Marvelous Medicine. This one, I don't understand if there's supposed to be something in it or to it. It did not make sense to me why that would be a thing that you write. No. I'm doing the swipe this way. Ooh, that one was really hard to do. The Tea Dragon Society, I reread all 3, and I'm not going to take them out and put them back in for no reason. I can just hold them all up at once because I read them all back to back pretty much. And yes, I love these. I will always love them, I think. I don't think I could ever think of a reason why I could suddenly hate them. Yes. And that is it. We are finally done. Okay. See, I'm short in height, and so I have to make up for it by being long in words. That's really bad. Ended up finishing at exactly 100 books, which I was happy about. So if this doesn't average or add up to be 100 books, then the reason would be because I forgot something. I'm actually going to really quickly do an honorable mention list of the books that I DNF'd. Stilling Snow by Danielle Page. It was going to be kind of in the middle for me, and I wasn't going to want to continue with the series. Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. I really hated how it was starting out, and I was like, there's no reason for me to try to push through for some content with this one, especially considering the fact, sorry, but I have to move that light. I just can't take it. There's like a shadow kind of in the middle of my face. It's a little better. Okay, but I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and pass on this. It's not popular enough for me to push through for the content. Why Fish Don't Exist by Lulu Miller. This one is kind of in that situation where it was kind of pushing some ideas that I disagree with, and so I just decided to step away from that. And then The Project by Courtney Summers, another one that I think was kind of pushing some things that I wasn't going to be a fan of, and was, you know, kind of doing one of those Christian cult things, but not like a real one, like a made-up one, and I wasn't interested in reading it. Winter in Paradise by Ellen Hilderbrand. This was just kind of not it was kind of in the middle of the road. It was a little over the top. It kind of made me think of the one that I read last year by the one that the summer, something about summer one. I'll pop it on the screen if I can think of it. And it would have been kind of in that same mixed feelings experience category, so I just decided to scratch that. And then Sea Fire by Natalie C. Parker was going in a direction that I was not feeling at all, and I was not enjoying. There was also, I didn't add this one, but there was at least one Christmas book that I started and DNF'd, Christmas with a Saint, and it was gonna be super spice heavy and like leaning very much into that in a way that I wasn't going to enjoy, so I just decided to DNF it. And all of that said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, whatever time it is for you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so that you can join the Bear Scouts, and the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I post. But most importantly, because I want to see you again very soon. Peace out, Bear Scouts.
Your worries